The West Premier Job Mokgoro is currently delivering his State of the Province address this morning. And among the issues on the cards is obviously the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccine. And importantly for the residents there, service delivery matters. Let's listen in.
Has started in earnest and will continue in the next year in preparation for participation in the 2023 Netball World Championship. The two multi-purpose sports centers at Mante in the Greater Town local municipality and at Ipelecheng in the Mamusa local municipality were planned for completion in the 2020-21 financial year. The Ipelecheng multi-purpose will be completed and handed over by the end of next month, while implementation at the Mante Sports Center will start in the 21-22 financial year, as it was suspended due to budgetary constraints. Ladies and gentlemen, the creative and sports industries have been hard hit by the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, and measures have been explored in order that the industry remains active and visible. The lockdown restrictions that we put in place to combat the pandemic also placed a burden on unprofessional and recreational activities. Honourable Speaker, engagements have been concluded towards the construction of a 6-kilometre access road to the Khora Farmer Training Centre in Mahikeng. And this will create about 20 temporary jobs in the process. As part of our effort to tackle poverty and food insecurity, we are putting back into production 12,000 hectares of fallow land that surrounds the Springbok Pan grain silos infrastructure in Chobotla with grain production. This initiative would enable the participation of all the 15 villages within 50 kilometers radius from the infrastructure Springbok Pan silo. This project would have a positive spin-off of about 240 jobs. Honourable Speaker, as an intervention to assist farmers adversely affected by drought, we are drilling additional 20 boreholes in communal farming areas to stand guard against the negative impact of drought. This would ensure that stock watering provision in terms of our state of drought disaster is attended to. As part of the comprehensive agriculture support program, we are implementing a value chain focused production of beef, pork, aquaculture, poultry, vegetables, Sellwane grain oilseeds, and lucerne across the province, benefiting 1,430 farmers while creating 600 jobs. To ensure food security through the Ilima Letsema program, we are supporting production of cash crops for 600 beneficiaries across the province with the aim of creating 300 jobs. In addition, we have provided 1,654 food insecure households with agriculture production packages. Honourable Speaker, our assessment has so far revealed that 5 earthen dams in Lehurutsi, Shoppingstad, Lobatla, Driefontein, and Khanyesa have been washed away by floods and will require 3 million to repair and restore these dams, which are mainly used for irrigation and livestock farming. Floods have also destroyed crops and fences in the Dichobotla, Kagisanomolopo, Twaing, Mamusa, and Ramotsiri Muilwa local municipalities. We will be allocating funds in 2021-22 financial year to restore these fences, but unfortunately, the crops cannot be recovered. Honourable Speaker, as committed in the last SOPA, we have successfully created 313 land care jobs and another 86 jobs through our rural development initiatives. With regard to our commitment to develop a fodder bank, we have so far planted 1,200 hectares of lucerne, secured 131 hectares for planting the next season, and identified a further 76 hectares for further expansion. Once all hectares are in production in the next season, we should have fodder reserves of 16,000 tons of lucerne. To enhance the support that we continue to provide to emerging farmers, we have successfully established 3 livestock facilities, facilitated 17 livestock auctions, where 3,583 livestock units were sold to the value of 20.8 million rand. Honorable Speaker, the right to adequate housing is an important basic human right, which is recognized in the Constitution and international human rights instruments. In the year under review, we had planned to build 6,381 units and to service 3,692 sites. To date, we have managed to deliver 1,862 houses and 3,409 service sites. Honorable Speaker, COVID-19 hit the construction sector very hard, as no construction could take place for 5 months of the year. Plans are underway to catch up on the backlog and to ensure that our people receive their houses. Our review of block projects, which are projects that were started but were not completed, revealed that the province has close to 8,000 units that need to be completed, and that close to 30,000 people who have been approved on the housing subsidy scheme claim not to have benefited from government's housing policy. We are therefore increasing our efforts to deliver adequate housing to the people of the Northwest in the 2021-22 financial year. Honorable Speaker, we have decided that all contractors who provide shoddy work or fail to complete projects awarded to them are to be listed on the National Treasury list of restricted suppliers, which aims to blacklist such contractors and ensure that they no longer participate in the built environment. Honorable Speaker, we have experienced good rainfall in the past month in various parts of our province. However, these rains have brought with them some unprecedented challenges that have resulted in flooding, loss of lives and livestock, damage to people's dwellings, as well as the destruction of infrastructure and road networks. The emerging housing policy is being implemented with municipalities hard at work doing assessment of households to determine which houses need government assistance to make them habitable and safe. Preliminary assessments were completed by 22 February 21, and the number of affected to be completed by 22nd February 2021, and the number of affected households is estimated at 4,000 across the province. These include houses that have totally collapsed, some that are partially damaged, windows broken, roofs blown away, and the majority are mud houses that are slowly disintegrating because of persistent rains. The information on all these affected households has been submitted to the Disaster Management Center en route to the National Department of Corporate Governance and Traditional Affairs. Further information is being collated by the disaster management team to finalize our provincial submission for the declaration of disaster. Temporary shelters are being considered to assist families who have lost their homes, as well as those whose homes are still submerged or not habitable at all. We are considering the use of alternative building technology to provide temporary shelters. Our efforts to address these challenges require a concerted effort, and all hands must be on deck to assist. Even as we try to implement the Breaking New Ground policy, a number of challenges continue to hamper the provision of housing. These relate to questionable quality and workpersonship of the houses constructed by the government, as close to 40% of beneficiaries reported weak walls, and 30% indicated weak roofs, requiring rectification, resulting in wasteful and fruitless expenditure. Honorable Speaker, the fact that our people are dependent on government for provision of housing in no way should subject them to shoddy personship or person workmanship or work personship. I think the latter is correct, or substandard houses. We are taking a hard stance against these contractors by ensuring that they go back and repay and or rebuild these houses at their costs. We will therefore have to double our efforts to deliver adequate housing to the people in the Northwest in the 21-22 financial year. Contractors who fail to deliver, as agreed in their contracts, will be terminated so that we can appoint contractors who will deliver the number of houses we are committing to. Honorable Speaker, we are ensuring that all contractors who provide training work, as I said, will be listed. Motswala wa maloba o rile matlo khosha a mabapi. Ka jalo a re se tsenyeng ditlhogo mo motlhabeng re itira o kare ga re bone mathata ao baagisane ba rona ba iphitlhelang ba le mo go one. A re thusaneng gonne fa re dira mmogo re tla kgona e le ruri. Musa kgotlhe merwalele e re itemogetseng yona mo malobeng e sentse ditsela tsa rona mo provinceng mme ditshenyegelo tseo di lekanyediwa go dimilione tsa diranta. We have already conducted an assessment and submitted report, as I said earlier, to the Provincial Disaster Management Center. Honorable Speaker, we have started work. Honorable Speaker?
There's a phone ringing. All members, we know the rules and the decorum of the House. Put all your phones on silent, please. Proceed to Nakolo, my apologies.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We have started work on some of the roads, utilizing internal teams to do pothole patching, blading, and spot regraveling. The repairs to the flood-damaged roads network will further assist SMME contractors in the province to participate in the rehabilitation of roads. The remaining work will be carried out in the new financial year. Honorable Speaker, the upgrading of rural roads in the Northwest remains one of our key priorities. To fast-track our plans in improving rural roads, we are creating a unit on rural roads that will be led by the Office of the Premier and Treasury, whose work will be implemented by the Department of Public Works and Roads. To, among other things, create jobs to boost local communities targeting youth and women. In the process, we are considering alternative building methods and approach from the Presidential Infrastructure Fund as we improve our rural roads. We are prioritizing rural roads that connect to major tourism attractions and cross-border roads as part of stimulating economic growth in the province. We are tightening monitoring of roads through implementation of a monitoring and evaluation system to ensure that performance challenges identified throughout the province are dealt with to redress service delivery backlogs. Honorable Speaker, increased funding for long-term and flood-damaged roads plan is a must. Our 10-year road master plan is being integrated into our district development model approach as part of our efforts to improve rural roads. Honorable Speaker, the Northwest Housing Corporation has issued title deeds to communities in Atamela, Mokwase, Lehurusi, and Shabani in the 2020-21 financial year. These are communities that have been occupying houses for decades without proof of ownership. We are now planning to issue over 1,000 title deeds across the province to communities in order to improve their livelihood, and we'll be doing this in the 21-22 financial year. Further to that, the Northwest Housing Corporation flats in Mahikeng are being sectionalized to enable tenants to purchase individual units. Honorable Speaker, a culture of non-payment of rental and services remains a threat to service delivery. Even though the Department of Human Settlements, in their business plan, have already provisioned for development of mixed human settlements, EXCO will, as a matter of urgency, conclude the policy framework thereof. We are also in the process of applying for the Social Housing Regulatory Authority, SHRA, accreditation in order to improve our capacity to implement social housing and rental stock. This will enhance the ability of the Northwest Housing Corporation to execute its mandate of providing housing for the gap market, which is in dire need. Honorable Speaker, my office is inundated with allegations of fraud, corruption, maladministration relating to departments, public entities, municipalities, and traditional councils. We have therefore found it necessary that these matters must be investigated speedily. And where there is prima facie evidence, such matters must be escalated to the law enforcement agencies. In this regard, effective from April 2021, we are establishing a provincial forensic investigation unit to perform investigations on allegations of identified fraud, maladministration, and corruption in provincial departments, public entities, municipalities, traditional authorities. The forensic unit will be established within the provincial treasury and will be functioning, reporting directly to the Premier. I must emphasize, this is not a wish, it is in implementation. Honorable Speaker, last year, we came to this August House and said that we will conduct lifestyle audits for members of EXCO, including the Premier. We are happy to announce that we are at an advanced stage to secure the services of a reputable service provider for this specific assignment.
Order, honorable members, order. Let's allow the Premier.
And the service provider should start duty at the beginning of April this year. Honorable Speaker, the state's capability to deliver services is uneven and at times uncoordinated. We have therefore resolved to address maladministration, poor governance, and corruption across all three spheres, including public entities. We aim to achieve a capable, honest government, improved leadership, a functionally efficient and integrated government, and a professional, meritocratic, and ethical public service. Meritocratic. We are prioritizing the implementation of the National Anti-Corruption Strategy. We remain immensely committed towards economic transformation and job creation. The Office of the Premier is reviewing and finalizing the Provincial Growth and Development Strategy
Honorable Sonaki,
and economic
please
modeling,
order.
and analysis is being conducted to determine targets for the PGDS. The Office of the Premier will continue to strengthen social collaboration programs with the Moses Kotane, the Rusu Khomotsimo Party, and the JB Marx Foundations, as pronounced in the last SOPA. Honorable Speaker, following the establishment of the task team on the plight of military veterans by President Cyril Ramaphosa in November last year, under the leadership of the Deputy President David Mabuza, the Office of the Premier is engaging with all military veteran structures of former statutory and non-statutory forces to implement the provisions of the Military Veterans Act aimed at improving the socio-economic conditions of military veterans. The Office of the Premier is engaging the Department of Higher Education and Training to explore feasibility of University of Technology, and we need to put speed on that one. Honorable Speaker, this year the Ikarishon School of Governance is to undergo a comprehensive, and I want to emphasize, turnaround to respond to the President's call for a capable state that is able to address the dire socioeconomic needs. The university, the Northwest University, is the main stakeholder in this process. We are committed to continue coordinating the important task of building skills and capacity of the state for efficient service delivery and to expose youth to relevant cutting-edge skills required in the fourth industrial revolution. In addition, we are rolling out 2 digital incubators in Dr. KK and Ngakamuti Remolema districts in line with the letter and spirit of the DDM. The Office of the Premier is implementing an upgrade of the new mainframe for the province. New equipment to enable this have arrived and have been installed. We are busy with the reconfiguration and the 2 systems, that is the old one and the new one. Well, for now, these 2 will for now run parallel to ensure continuity of services such that service providers can be continually paid. The switch over to the new system will take place at the beginning of April this year. In addition, the Office of the Premier is expanding internet connectivity to 123 libraries in the new financial year. Citizens will then have access to internet access and the wider knowledge economy. These are our first steps as a government into the fourth industrial revolution, notwithstanding the strides that our private sectors are making in this space. Honourable members, we are moving at breakneck speed to ensure that the Northwest is on par with technological advancement brought about by 4IR. Working together with the National Department of Communication and Digital Technologies, we are addressing digital infrastructure challenges and services in our province. And this includes the rollout of broadband network and Wi-Fi services to public facilities. Some of these facilities include, but are not limited to, 103 schools and 22 health facilities in the Dr. KK district, which have been fitted with 10 megabytes per second speed connectivity by a broadband in Frako, which is a state-owned telecommunications service provider. Furthermore, another 75 facilities are to be connected this year in the province. Wi-Fi and local area network rollout is already in progress, and for that, 35 facilities will be completed this year. Honourable Speaker, 2 SMMEs have been appointed as access network providers for Dr. KK District, and additional SMMEs were appointed as subcontractors by the main access network providers. The target groups on SMME development are enterprises owned by youth, women, and people with disabilities, and Broadband Infraco has provided technical support and resources to these SMMEs as part of its enterprise development strategy. Honorable Speaker, 20 new point of presence, POP, sites are being established in order to connect municipalities, hospitals, and economic hubs with a total of 1,709 kilometers of fiber. The scope of work includes the following: provisioning of fiber, transmission equipment, site establishment, labor cost for fiber installation, and equipment installation. Honorable Speaker, Communication and Digital Technologies Minister, Minister Sellwane Khakhau, in her interaction with us, stated the need to modernize provincial government services through e-governance solutions, saying this strategy is already being expanded to the local government spheres. And I think we're already seeing work unfolding in Dr. Ruth. I can confidently say we are on course towards having an improved citizen experience of government service delivery through digital channels and improved efficiency of government operations through the provisioning of secure and cost-effective ICT solutions, products, and services. Honorable members, this is a catalyst for increased citizen value through availability and accessibility of core government public-facing services on digital platforms, and a better capacitated public service workforce capable of solving complex problems and adopting innovative solutions. Regarding the digital migration program, we are urging indigent households of the Northwest, since we are a prioritized province, to register at their nearest post offices in order for them to benefit from the subsidized set-top boxes being provided by the Department of Communication and Digital Technologies, as installation thereof will resume from the next month. We'll ensure that this information is publicized widely. We are committed to working with unemployed young people and SMMEs to participate in government's youth digital skilling program. I think we're aware of the President's groundbreaking report of 2020. To participate in government.
Right, you are watching the State of the Province address there in the Northwest, delivered by Premier Job Mokgoro. They're talking about various issues, service delivery issues, touching on COVID-19 with regards to the vaccines. One particular thing that jumps out is when much of the country, a lot of the provinces are experiencing good rain, the Premier was talking about the drought situation in the Northwest and saying that they will be drilling additional 20 boreholes to mitigate against the effects of drought. Also, with regards to housing provision, he says all contractors who provide shoddy work will be listed. And one of the big priorities, I think, top priorities for the province is the upgrading of rural roads. Stand by for more on that.